Okay. We're really doing this. We are actually going to talk about that date.
Are we? I thought we were just going to stare at the recording software in mutually agreed upon terror for 40 minutes.
That's the backup plan, but no. We promised. Awkward ND dating, autopsy, no survivors.
Except us. We survived. Barely.
Barely. So, should we just name it? Rip the Band-Aid off?
The museum
date. For context, because our listeners weren't there, mercifully, this was about 4 years ago?
Yeah, we met online. The texting was shockingly good, full paragraphs, emoji used correctly for tonal clarification. We'd info dump about our hyperfixations to each other, and it was a positive, not a burden. It felt safe.
It felt like we cracked the code. So we decided to meet in person. And we, in our infinite wisdom, chose a Saturday afternoon at the big Natural History Museum. Seemed perfect. Neutral ground. Stuff to look at to ease the pressure to talk. A built-in activity.
What could possibly go wrong?
Everything. Everything could go wrong.
The first 15 minutes were fine, right? We met by the giant totem pole, the obligatory, you look like your picture. So do you, which for the record is the biggest lie neurotypicals ever invented, and we all just keep saying it.
It's a social script we accept as a necessary fiction, like, how are you? Yeah, it's fine. A little stiff. Then we walked into the first gallery, the mineralogy hall, all the rocks and gems behind glass.
And that's where the first thing happened.
The label reading.
Yes, I stopped to read the information card for a particularly sparkly geode, not just a glance, a full, complete read, top to bottom.
And I stood there. I didn't know what to do. Do I also read it? But you were reading it. Do I look at the geode silently? Do I look at you reading? Do I look around the room? My brain short-circuited into a logic loop of social protocol.
I could feel you standing there, and my brain was screaming, "You're taking too long, just skim it." But what if there's a cool fact, but he's waiting, abort? So I started reading faster, which meant I wasn't absorbing any words. It was just scanning shapes with panic.
After what felt like 3 hours, you finished. You looked at me and said, "Huh, neat."
And you said, "Yeah, very crystalline."
That was the moment. That was the seed of the doom, because then, for the rest of the museum, we both became hyper-aware of the pace, the looking at things pace, the reading pace. It turned from looking at cool dinosaurs into a silent, unspoken negotiation of movement, speed, and attention distribution.
It was a cooperative game where neither of us knew the rules or the objective. The fun activity became the entire source of stress. We stopped talking to each other and started mentally narrating for each other. She's lingering at the T-Rex. Does she think I'm bored? I'm not bored. I'm just overloaded. Why did they make the lighting in here so flickery?
Don't get me started on the lighting. And the children. So many high-pitched, sudden sounds.
By the time we got to the cafe, we were both so mentally exhausted from three-dimensional social chess that we just shorted out.
The silence. The legendary cafe silence. We got our drinks, sat down, and for a solid 90 seconds, just stared at our respective cups. Not out of anger or dislike. Our social batteries were in the red, beeping, and our brains had entered power-saving mode. We had used all our spoons navigating the mineral exhibit.
I remember thinking, say something, anything. This tea is hot. But even that felt like a Herculean task of linguistic construction, and I knew you were in the same state. I could see it, and part of me was relieved I didn't have to mask, but the other part was screaming that this was a catastrophic date failure.
It ended politely, a bit abruptly. Well, this was great. Yes, really great. Internal screaming. We texted later that night. The classic. Had a nice time. Lie.
But then a miracle. 2 days later, you texted and you didn't say, had a nice time. You said, okay, real talk. The museum was a sensory and social nightmare for me. I spent 20 minutes mentally calculating the optimal path through the dinosaur bones. No hard feelings if you never want to speak again, but I need to be honest.
And you wrote back. What was it?
I wrote, oh, thank God. I thought I broke you. I read every single plaque in the insect wing as a panic response. I am so sorry.
And that was our real first date. That text exchange. The postmortem. The mutual, unmasked acknowledgement of the disaster. It was the most understood I'd felt in months.
We learned more about each other in that vulnerable, awkward debrief than we did in the entire 3-hour museum tour. We learned we both default to analytical panic. We both experience simultaneous overthinking and brain shutdown. We both prefer directness over politeness, even if it's scary.
So, the rules we sort of forged from that disaster.
Rule 1, the activity is a trap. Museums, movies, concerts, they sound good, but they add a layer of performance and sensory negotiation. Now, our first dates are walks or sitting in a quiet corner of a park. The activity is talking or comfortably not talking. Low stakes, no script.
Rule 2, embrace the post-game analysis. The meta conversation about the interaction is more important than the interaction itself. Hey, I just realized I was monologuing about trilobites for 10 minutes. Are you okay? Yeah, I was just fascinated. But I did zone out a bit at the end. That's not a failure. That's teamwork.
Rule 3, assume good faith, interpret literally. This is the big one. When my brain says, they haven't texted back in 4 hours, they hate me, I have to force it back to, they said they were going to be busy. They are busy. No hidden meaning. And to offer the same. If I need to cancel because I'm overstimulated, I say exactly that. I'm overstimulated and need to cancel. Not, I'm not feeling well.
So, the question we promised we'd end on, after all that. What's one neurodivergent dating rule we wish everyone, neurodivergent or neurotypical, just knew?
I think it's that effort doesn't look the way people think it does. Effort isn't just remembering anniversaries or planning fancy dates. For us, effort is often invisible. It's the effort to send the I'm overwhelmed text instead of ghosting. It's the effort to sit through a noisy restaurant because your partner loves it. It's the effort to verbally articulate a feeling that happens as a color-shaped sound in your brain. I wish that internal labor was seen as the romantic, caring effort that it is.
That's a really good one. For me, I wish the rule was, a successful date is not defined by flawless interaction. A successful date is one where both people feel a little more known at the end of it, even especially if that knowing comes from sharing the awkward, weird, or difficult bits. Our successful first date was a museum fail followed by a brutally honest text thread. That was the connection.
The connection was in the calibration.
Exactly. In figuring out how our two weird operating systems could handshake.
Well, we survived telling the story. I call that a win.
Same. Listeners, if you have your own awkward and neurodivergent dating stories or hard-won rules, we would genuinely love to hear them. Find us on our socials or in our community.
And remember, if your first date involves a mutually traumatic experience with a mineral exhibit, you might just be onto something. Thanks for being in the awkward with us.
Talk to you next time.